Wrestling with AEW Revolution 2024 review. It was last Sunday. It took place in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the
Greensboro, what, like the pizza place?
Coliseum.
No, he's talking about the Japanese beer.
Yeah.
Ah,
It was the attendance was 16,878. I think this is the biggest crowd they've had in quite some time. Arguably maybe the most they've had. Um, Keep in mind this is a 35,000 capacity arena. That can't be right.
no.
I mean, it's what Wikipedia says, but that can't be right.
35,000 at peak usage. So presumably for
Bullshit! Wait a minute. So
presumably for a concert or political event.
that's crazy. So that thing can actually hold more people in it than the crypto. Because crypto's max is like 1920.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Either way, it was a big crowd. And to be honest, my thoughts on this show, it was peaks and valleys, in my opinion. The things that I liked, and the things that I didn't, I just didn't give a shit about. Uh,
That ending, man. Woo! Mwah! Chef's kiss.
but what say you, Kaliko? Your thoughts on the show as a whole?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Questionable things at the end there, but
Not wrong about that.
but but we'll just let that rock in itself. But to me, it was okay. It was all right. It was okay.
Scooter?
You know, for a fucking company that loves to run long, somehow, for some reason, this is the one night they decide to
Cut it short.
cut the feed. Not before midnight, not after midnight, literally, as the clock struck midnight. Feed over. It was Halloween Havoc 97 all over again.
Yeah? You're,
Or was it 90, yeah, 98. No, yeah, 98, yeah.
you're not wrong about
Yeah.
that.
So, it happened.
Well, yeah, it definitely happened.
I remember. It made me remember somebody was still employed.
A couple, yeah.
And it's actually, I think this was rock bottom for a certain team, but we'll get into that.
Well, let's start with the first match of the main card because we don't do buy-ins; they're trash. We have
Damn.
Christian cage match rating with the Patriarchy, Luchasaurus, Marco Wayne, Pro Diggity, Nick, Damian Wayne. They all defeated Daniel Garcia to retain the AEW TNT Championship in 16 minutes and 50 seconds. Less of a fuck I could not give about this match. It wasn't. it didn't do anything for me. It kind of was on the boring side, which is saying something because Christian could really, actually go and have a good match with somebody like Daniel Garcia, but I just didn't see the upside to this match. Kaliko.
I mean, same. I mean, I think everyone there, for this to be the opening, it was like, but I get why Christian, because Christian has been that guy. He's been the best guy on the mic in that goddamn company. Whether that's good or bad, depending on what he says. But yeah,
Scooter.
They, what do I always say? What are the most two important matches on a card?
The
The
open
first,
and close.
yeah, and this was the drizzling shits.
Got it?
AEW isn't. They're trying to. They're trying kind of way too hard now to almost step away from. They're trying to trigger their own Attitude Era.
You can't
And
force something like that.
I know, but you have somebody named Daniel Garcia, which let's face it, that's a generic name. And as much as Garcia, as good as he is in the ring, a lot of AEW talent isn't gonna be seen, as anything more than mid-card fodder until they do something, until AEW takes them seriously. I mean, look what happened to Mario Andretti when he beat Jericho.
You're talking about Action Spaghetti, right?
No, Mario Andretti. He drove the cart and went, woohoo! Oh, Mario! So yeah, this is we're gonna be doing a root canal counter for the rest of this review. Matches that I would have rather had a root canal than see, and it's now officially at one root canal.
How many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
I give it a black hole because it sucked all the stars right out of it. I'll be nice and give it 2 stars.
Kaliko?
2, because it was the opener. Filler, it would have probably been a 3.
Yeah, I agree with everybody else. It was a 2-star match. That brings us to the second match on the show, the Continental Breakfast Crown Championship. The King of the Bums, Eddie Kingston versus Brian, don't call me Danielson, Brian Sin Danielson. Eddie won in 19 minutes and 45 seconds. Um, Honestly, not a bad match. What they did made sense. How the whole story connected to each other. Uh, it Nothing offended me. It all made sense. Maybe a little bit longer than it necessarily should have been. But again, a solid match in my opinion. Kaliko?
I mean, Eddie Kingston out here living his best Austin Aries belt collector life right now.
I will say,
Just saying.
I will say one thing. Scooter was completely right about one thing. He thanked a Japanese wrestler he never met. Uh, did you have more to say, Kaliko, or move on to Scooter?
I mean, it was an okay match. I mean, it's Daniel Bryan. He's going to make sure it's safe and it kind of makes sense. I mean, they are really putting Eddie Kingston on a roll up in this bitch. So it's just a matter of where do they go? What's his peak?
Scooter?
I think the big surprise here is Eddie didn't completely gas himself to go 20 minutes.
Like he's waiting to go to the gas arena, obviously.
That's where they were this past Wednesday.
Oh, that was in Duluth?
That where the Gas South Arena is.
Okay.
Yes, Fart Joke Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. If this was a Dynamite or a Collision, this could have been a main event. I probably would have put this. I probably would have switched, made this the opener.
I agree.
I'll give it 4 stars.
Kaliko? How many stars?
3.5. I'm just trying to figure out, is everybody going to get tired of Eddie Kingston?
That's a good question.
Or is he going to be like the, what the hell is his name?
Is he going to be like his brother Kofi?
I mean, he's already lasted longer than Kofi title-wise.
Kofi
So,
lasted 6 months at least.
and it all came down in 20 seconds. Not even 20 seconds.
Yeah, well,
4 seconds.
at least Kofi was a world champion.
He's just a champion of breakfasts.
If you have to include a company's world title in a all your favorite titles in one compilation. Then it no longer has the right to be called a world championship.
Is it called World Championship? No, it's just the Continental crown.
Yes, but the ROH World Championship is part of it.
So, wouldn't it be called like the Captain Planet Championship?
No. For him, it would be the Captain Crunch.
Damn. Oh, now that's cool.
Because you either eat him or he cuts up the roof of your mouth.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll have to talk widely.
Unless you got the peanut butter crunch, they don't really cut the roof of your mouth like that.
I give it 3.5 stars as well. Alright, now we have the All-Star 6-Pack Challenge Scramble match.
My God, these people need to eat.
So, we got Warhol defeating NDH as Jericho, Powerhouse Snaps, Lance Archer, what did I call Hook last week?
Captain Hook, Peter Pan.
I can't remember. Just Hook. He beat Hook.
Holler if you hear me.
Brian, don't confuse me with Christian Cage match. Definitely not Nick Aldis Magnus. And, Dante's Inferno Martin.
That was probably the most intellectual reference that will ever be on this show.
You're not wrong.
Yes.
It lasted 15 minutes and 45 seconds. This was a clusterfuck of what the fuck. Dante Martin literally had the worst spots of all time. Well, maybe not of all time, but it was pretty fucking bad. He flopped Dalid. And yeah, this was just. Why does this need to be on the show? Kaliko.
Is this why we don't do 6-pack challenges and we just do like gauntlet matches?
Maybe why WWE does it.
Yeah, because you usually want to pay attention on the two people in action. The only problem I have with this is when they do all these sixes, it's hard to try to keep track of action that's popping off all over the place.
Right.
Because
WWE.
at least with a tag, you're focusing,
At least with
And
but
WWE, they don't. Um, they make sure that it's just one thing is going on at a time that you can focus on.
yeah, I felt like this was helter skelter. It was like just it was one of those don't blink, and if you blink you're gonna miss this car accident that's popping off,
Pretty much.
and you kind of, which is good for people who like that. I mean, but we all kind of assumed Wardlow was gonna win. So why would I have him go through all this car crashing just for him to come out the winner?
True. Screw?
all right, first of all, they originally called this Meat Madness.
Yes, that is
Was
correct.
it sponsored by like the USDA or something like that for like states?
No, sponsored by the US NDA.
You say NBA or NBA?
US USNDA.
Well, if it's Jericho's in the match, it's an NBA.
Uh, AEW's agents, they really need to go back to the drawing board and learn what their matches are supposed to be. Because this was not a scramble match. I mean, a scramble match is a set time with set entrance, and this was just throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Andretti was not in the match.
I mean, first they did it with a friggin' Texas death match. Yeah, which is to them just a last man standing match. Again, fucking stupid. You could have done this on the pre-show.
Like what Brontosaurus when he won?
Oh my god! All right, somebody has to make sure Tony Khan is feeding these people.
How many stars you give this one, Squirtle?
2.5.
Kaliko?
Same.
I think you guys are being generous. 1 star. This was not a good match.
I mean, they booked it right. The right person won. I gotta give him credit for that.
But it's what this leads into. Uh, with when when Adam Cole can finally get back in the ring.
Right. Well, let's get to the next match. Roderick Strong. He defeated freshly pooped Orange Cassidy to capture the International Championship in 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Before we actually talk about the match, I love the fact that Matt Taven and Mike Bennett literally went up the ramp with Wardlow and then came back down with Roderick Strong. Um, Other than that, this match didn't necessarily upset me as it necessarily could have. What they did actually make sense. There were a couple of what the fuck moments. I could make the argument it shouldn't have taken Roderick Strong 12 minutes to beat Orange Cassidy. But I can't say the right person did win the match. Kaliko.
So Roderick finally gets some singles gold not associated with ROH. I mean, congrats. There's in order. Um, Orange Cassidy should have had that belt gone a long time ago, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Because they treated that belt like shit. I mean, not Okada, but Naito had the IWGP and he tried to pawn it, and it still had more relevance than goddamn Orange Cassidy having the belt. So just put that out there for you, Nugget. But congrats to Roddy, he earned it. First title, first singles title in AEW. So kudos.
Scooter.
This match, it really kind of failed to grab my attention, and before I knew it, it was over. And I'm thinking, wait, that's it? That's the finish they went with? Like, okay.
TV's not playing.
And then
This TV is not playing live. Can you check? It's not connected. It says not connected.
wait, I mean, yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to this for me. So
Right. Alright. And then, after the match, before we do, our stories, Kyle O'Reilly made his return to AEW. Um, kinda was going to attack Roddy, then didn't attack Roddy, but then hugged Roddy, but was conflicted about hugging Roddy.
then got a shirt. They gave back the shirt. Whispered something into his ear.
Clearly he said
And
sweet nothings.
you know what he said? This is gonna be our Rock and Cody moment.
It would have. Now, clearly I'm not a booker, so maybe I'm ignorant to why they do what they do. But one had have made more sense if the Wednesday on Dynamite, Darby's alone, no more Sting. Um, Attack the fucking guy that injured you in the first place. Um, am I wrong for that being a logical thing to maybe go over, or is Tony Khan
But
just that much smarter than me?
it's a matter of he thought enough time has passed that they really don't need to revisit that.
Yeah, whatever. How many
Shit.
stars do you give this one, Scooter?
2.5.
Kaliko, if you're there, how many stars you give it?
5 because Orange Cassidy finally lost that damn title.
I'll go in the middle. I'll give it 3 stars. Alright, now we have The Combat Wombats, John Moxicillin and Claudio Ida Canoli, they defeated FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler in 21 minutes and 50 seconds. This was arguably the best match on the card, in my opinion. Um, the, there's no tag team better than FTR out there today, and Moxley and Claudio does somewhat look like a tag team themselves. So there was good in between everything they kind of did made sense. There was a little bit of drama, which is always appreciated. Not too much drama. Um, and maybe the wrong person won, but if they're going to run it back to do maybe, a last tag team standing or a dark color match, then that would probably make sense. But if this was just like a one and done deal, then that makes absolutely no sense. Um, what say you, Scooter?
Yeah, it has been nothing but downhill for the for FDR. Um, they have had a really bad last at least 6 months, even more, and it's it's starting to show. It's like they've reached the point in marriage where you tolerate your spouse, but you're not sure if you're really physically attracted to them anymore. So, I mean that, and the fact that the fact that Cash became a prison bitch. No,
He was never in the penitentiary with Dom. Right, Kaliko, your thoughts?
Probably the second best match of the night, but I guess we kind of knew FTR was going down. They're gonna have to. They're already announcing they only had a couple more years, so eventually the slow breakup has to occur in order for, I guess, the wrestling version of Kobe and Shaq dissipate.
How many stars you give this one, Kaliko?
4, a solid 4, because to me the match of the night was another match with a whole other story.
Scooter?
3.5.
I give this one 5 stars for the simple fact that John Mox did not bleed, and that it takes a lot for Moxley not to bleed during a match, and yeah, he didn't bleed, so it gets 5 stars.
I mean, I don't think Moxley has the ability to form clots anymore.
Now we got the AEW Women's World Championship match. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Deonna Purrazzo in 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Nothing to write home about, but it wasn't bad, I would say. Didn't necessarily go too long, didn't go too short. Told a bit of a story, got some good heat on Tony Storm. I guess I would call this somewhat of a success. Kaliko?
What happened is exactly what I expected to happen. Person makes debut, gets a shot at the title, only to lose, and now will be stuck in that climb back to main event women's mediocrity.
You mean main event the Ring of Honor Championship?
No.
Scooter.
I have to admit, I kind of did like seeing Mariah May cosplay as Tony Storm. Yeah, you can love her or hate her, but you can't deny that if you had to make a list of the top 3 things AEW was doing right, you can't deny that Tony Storm would be on the top of that list.
Right.
It's like literally, it's like the inmates running the asylum. She saw an opportunity and she ran with it. And again, me, going back to my college days, being having a degree in media and taking so many classes on black and white cinema and the starlets of the early 20th century. It's it's all encapsulating for Tony Storm, and it's the deadpan delivery that she has, not just in the match, but outside of the ring. She is actually keeping kayfabe more so than I think anybody in pro wrestling today.
Yeah.
And it's I have a feeling that she is going to be number 1 on the PWI 500, 200, 500, maybe even the 375.
420.
But spark it. This was a waste of Deonna Purrazzo. There was long-term storytelling embedded in their damn skin. You could have stretched this out.
Now you're
But
not
AEW, they are going to give you hot shot it to the main event, and then you lose, and then you're stuck floundering in what the fuck land until you figure it out. It happened to Tony. It happened to Athena. It happened to Rio. It happened to Paige. It happened.
Until then,
Certain pattern with the women's division in that regard.
Chin up, tits out, and watch for that ass.
How many stars you give this one, Scooter?
With my free hand, 4.
Oh God.
Please stop it. Kaliko.
Not long enough. 3.5.
That's what she said.
I give it a solid 3. Alright. Now we have Will Ospreay versus Kolkutska Takeshita. The match lasted 22 minutes. Why was this on the card, Kaliko?
Because they needed to introduce a Japanese audience to a Southern culture that don't really care about Japanese wrestlers.
You're talking about Will Ospreay?
Both.
I think thinking of more of, wait, aren't they both Don Callis family, so why are they facing each other now?
Yeah. And I mean, John Callis was on commentary for this match as well.
Well, considering the fact that I guess they got him running through the whole goddamn people, so that's a whole nother thing.
Like, it was gonna happen. It should have happened in a more organic form, like in a tournament where they had no choice. This, when you really think about it, I don't know if this is brilliant storytelling or if it's completely tasteless.
Scooter, you're acting like you're thinking like a sensible human being. Stop it.
But Don Callis is apparently hazing Will Ospreay.
Well, duh, because they're trying to. I mean, it almost like you were wrestling with those Japanese pussies, like
I mean,
Yoshihashi. You need some real motherfuckers in your life.
I will not deny. I will neither confirm nor deny that Don Callis has been in talks with one of us to join the Don Callis family for Will Ospreay's next match against Chris Jericho. Or maybe I just had a dream of that.
No, it was me. Affirmative action hired. That's me.
Well, Bob Iger would be proud. Ryan Reynolds, however, would hate you.
Yeah, he would.
How many stars do you give this one, Scooter?
I'll give it 3 spring rolls.
Kaliko.
Best match of the night. 4.75 shrimp.
On the Bobbies?
Well, when I saw this match came on, all I saw was it said "take shitta," and I did
And I
what
was
the
like,
TV told me, and I
don't
asked
mind,
my toilet.
don't mind if I yes. And you don't take shit out, you leave a shit out.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you don't take it.
I'm going to take a shit. Well, don't take one of mine. I only
Yeah,
got
you
2
don't.
left. The weekend's coming up.
Yeah, I never got that. Why do people say you're taking a shit when you're really just dumping a shit?
well, then we have the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. We got Sweet Tooth. He defended the champions. He won the match, beating Mustache Page and Swerve Strickland with Prince na hey hey goodbye. At this point in the show, I was just kind of tired. Wanted it to honestly be end. I maybe didn't appreciate the match as much as I could have. Because there was some good storytelling. They did protect Swerve, which is appreciated. Um, and it kind of told the story of how far gone Page is as well, with also keeping Joe a strong champion as well. So it all did kind of mesh well, even though I may have not appreciated as much as I necessarily could or should. Kaliko.
Full disclosure, when I was watching these pay-per-view, I had my mom with me.
Interesting.
Of course, when Swerve came out, the first thing she say is, and I quote, "Man, they making these niggas look bad with the damn." It upset at their mom. It's popular. It's like, ugh, black folks will do anything.
You
I'm just like,
kids,
Mom.
you kids with your Smirnoff Ices and your Dan Fogelberg.
Oh gosh. But all in all, the match was pretty good. I was at a friend's house. We were sitting there watching the match. I knew Joe was gonna win. but the way that they explained Hangman tapping was very interesting because they're like, okay, did he tap because he really wanted to tap, or did he tap because he would rather see him lose than to see Swerve win, which is interesting. That is an interesting take on a triple threat match where he's like he hated the dude so bad that he would have rather tap and not have that motherfucker have a shot at all.
Right.
And the camera angle where they showed Swerve looking at him like, what the fuck? That tells me it was the latter. So overall, good storytelling. Joe wins, which means Joe Wardlow, meaty men.
Yeah, they'll run it back. Right, Squirtle.
I like the idea of if you really look at Page's eyes when he's locked in the clutch, it's almost he's like scanning his peripheral to see where Swerve is, and of course he can't see Swerve because Swerve is behind him diagonally and getting ready to get up, and then Page just taps. And it's almost like that wasn't the finish Swerve was told. That they wanted him to react like that, as if that there was a chance that he was going to get put over, only for it to not happen. Which, let's be clear here, you kind of do have to. The lines of face and heel really do need to be defined a bit more when it comes to Swerve and Hangman. This is going to generate so much more sympathy from the fans towards Swerve, and for the first time in its entire existence, this is the first time AEW is establishing proper precedent to turn someone into a number one contender. Not just by sheer happenstance or of who you're involved with. Swerve has earned this spot. And that little piece of psychology is going to go a long way. I don't know if I would want Swerve to be the one who takes it off Joe. Oh God, who were we talking about before with the Okada? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they would have had a bigger splash if MJF had come back, and it turns out he brought Okada back. But again, Swerve, they're doing it right with him. It's up to AEW to decide whether or not they get past the line of scrimmage.
How many stars do you give this one?
I will give it. I will give it 4.5. Best match of the night.
Kaliko?
Yeah, about 4.5. So he's basically saying AEW has Swerve in the Marshawn Lynch position and don't fuck it up like Russell Wilson did in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I would have probably gave it 4, but I'll be generous and give it 4.5 as well. You make good points. Alright, now we go to the main event, the last match, the thing that everybody paid a ticket for. It was Sting's last match.
What did they pay? What did they pay for? What did they pay? They paid a ticket.
They paid a ticket for Sting. Sting's last match.
I didn't realize tickets were currency.
Okay. It was a tornado tag team match. No disqualification, also known as a lazy booking match. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It lasted 21 minutes and 2 seconds. Sting and Darby retained, defeating the middle-aged Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas. By
You mean more
submission.
like the Wright brothers?
Nicholas.
You mean the Wright brothers?
It was
They chose wrong.
it wasn't Ric Flair's last match, so that's a great thing. When you have that to compare it to, then it's a 5-star, it's a 82-star match in the Tokyo Dome.
I have a question for you two about this, and you got to answer this honestly. How many of you thought Wolfpack Sting was actually Sting?
Not Wolfpack Sting, but the one that before Software Sting.
Yeah, when his first kid, when he first came out, I thought it was Sting.
Sting
And then
Jr.
when the second kid came out, I was like, ain't no goddamn way that's Sting.
Yeah.
Unless he...
Sting Jr. That's actually his name. Steve Borden Jr. So, yes, there could actually be a Sting Jr.
Yeah. It was somewhat clusterfuckery.
In the beginning, because it turned from a tornado tag to a handicap match.
And I mean, everybody, everybody's talking about the spot with Darby where he literally just threw himself on a plate of glass.
I knew he was going through it. I was like, ain't no way the
Yeah.
Bucks doing that
No.
shit.
Everybody
The
knows.
Bucks.
Everybody knows. I feel like that spot really took away from Sting and acknowledging, focusing on Sting. I kind of feel like it made us think about how fucking stupid is Darby, rather than good. Good for you, Sting. Thank you for all the memories. Way to go
No,
on a
that's the
high note.
story, sir. You're missing the angle. The angle was that Darby was so daring that he was willing to die for it, and he damn near did, and left Sting all alone in Darby's hubris to try to prove his point that he's willing to die for Sting.
I don't know
That's just
about him being in his
creepy.
hubris, but he was in the hospital for a good hot minute.
Bro, they put a tourniquet on his ass. I was like, what the fuck, bro? You need to go to Kaiser. You don't need to be here. You need to be at Rady's, Sharp.
They had to sew up his butthole.
Like, Jesus. For real, though?
Jesus ain't gonna help.
Yeah, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with that. That dude's tripping.
I don't think Jesus was in the crowd for that night. He usually regularly visits AEW, but not that night, at least. What your thoughts on the match, Kaliko?
I was for sure thinking the Bucks were gonna win, And then Sting won. And then I was today years old when I found out that he was undefeated this whole goddamn time in AEW.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? He's out here got a Goldberg streak with his old ass?
29-0, I believe.
Over 4
I
years.
of over. That's what I'm saying. This dude wrestled what 4 times a year?
Yeah, six times a year roughly.
Not a bad schedule, honestly.
More than Roman.
Or,
You're not wrong.
how dare you?
Hey, can
Roman's
we
in.
can we talk about the fact that they actually mentioned Sting's retirement on Raw, and fucking Pat McAfee said, "Great match last night,"
Yeah, you did.
and Michael Cole, in the most politest way ever, told him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
but I was surprised to see Sting go out as the winner because it was like, okay, the Buck gotta win to get this titles off of him, and Darby can flounder on his own. But no, they won,
The one
and
time,
Darby is still floundering.
the one time we needed the Young Bucks to actually win a match, and they don't, and now we're subjected to another AEW tournament.
Well, I mean,
Does the day end in Y? Then it's time for another AEW tournament.
from what I heard, it was the Bucks' insistence that they put Sting over.
Yes, because Sting really needed that rub.
Yeah.
Along with Tony Khan. So 3 people on one saying, go out like Elway. And Sting's like, motherfucker, am I? Because it would have got more heat on the Bucks to say that they beat Sting in his final match. But they already had heat for being Sting's final match. And then they beat Sting with the titles. That would have been fucking nuclear X-Pac-ish heat.
You know, I did not realize that the Bucks renamed it to the Tony Khan driver.
Apparently, yeah, that was the first time I heard it. And
Well, Meltzer ain't signing checks.
I am certainly EVP triggered.
Yep. Alright, how many stars you give this one, Scooter?
I will give it a couple of thumbtacks. Almost 3.5.
Kaliko.
I'm gonna say this. I love Sting. Sting was cool, although he never put nobody over.
But Knack.
But I'm gonna give this a what?
Knackness, Nick Aldis.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, you were
Boy,
there,
stop. Stop it. I give it a 3 just because of the fact that they had the speech and they cut the speech off.
Yeah.
In the middle of the goddamn.
Like, hold on, I'm getting cues. Fade to black.
I know.
And Fight TV never had more complaints than it did on Sunday.
I know, because everybody in our house, like in my buddy's house, we were like, "What the fuck?"
And what was really kind of disturbing was to see how nonchalant they were about that. it's like, no, they didn't even apologize. They can say, "Oh, sorry. I'm sure Sting's speech would be online." Like, okay, great. Assuming that they were intending on doing some sort of "This Is Your Life" thing, probably would have been best saved for Dynamite.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like,
Let me ask you this. If there was no speech at the end of the match before they went off air, and it was just Sting like mouthing thank you and raising Darby's hand and, maybe some confetti, would that have would you have had an issue with that?
no, I wouldn't have. It would have made the most logical sense. And then I would have expected Darby to nail him in the head with a chair.
Oh, I for sure thought he was gonna fucking turn on him. I was like, hit him, you pussy, hit him.
Yeah, we were all like, "Oh, come on, Darby has to turn heel. Otherwise, Tony's going to give us another reality show about looking for his new tag team partner." Which, by the way, if he wouldn't it be great if it turns out that the next person Darby wins the tag titles with is Kenny Omega?
I was thinking, his Sting's son is Jack. Oh,
Oh yeah,
and
they're
one of
signed.
huh?
Oh yeah, they're signed.
So I was just thinking, Sting came out on Wednesday and say there's not going to be a tournament. My son is going to be Darby's new tag team partner.
Yeah, no,
Boy,
no,
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 hell no,
no.
hell no, you bet not.
I mean, there's only so much nepotism that can happen in AEW.
I don't know if
Like
that's
the
nepotism per
fuck he
se.
is, the
It's just
fuck he is his partner.
it's a natural
Crack
progression, I
rock,
would
he's
say.
smoking.
But Darby's not going to be there for much longer. He's going to climb Mount Everest. So even if he did, beat up Sting, it was gonna be lost because he's not going to be there either. Um, Theoretically, this might be Darby Allin's last match, depending on what he does on that fucking mountain. So yeah,
I swear to God, if Darby actually freezes to death in a certain position,
no, he tries to coffin drop off of the peak of Mount Everest.
Oh my god.
and he still hasn't hit the ground since.
You gave it 3.5 stars, Kaliko?
I gave it 3 because they fucked up that
I,
goddamn
Okay.
speech.
I gave it 3.5 because
Yep.
they fucked up the speech. Yeah.
And I give this match 5 stars simply for the fact that it was not Ric Flair's last match. And for that reason alone, it is worth 5 stars.
Wait, this just in at Dynasty: Darby Allin and Ric Flair against the Young Bucks.
Will you stop it?
Ric Flair would pull some shit like that.
Yeah, he would. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of AEW Revolution and this episode as a whole. Um, Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this is sponsored by World Energy and Terrible Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Ken Zane, this Wednesday as we interview Jim Melancholy, and join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I mean, I'm 10, so I'm too young for Twitter. So,
But you're perfect for X.
perfect for X. I am Kaliko.
And where we could be finding Scooter?
As always, find me on X at Scooter Dust. The X profile pick contest still running wild. Nobody has been able to tell me what that profile pick is. If you are able to, you will win a free year of Peacock.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.